supporters on opposite sides of the grounds have been trying to out-cheer each other and out-noise each other in terms of hooters, blowers, etc. At this point also, we would like to welcome viewers in Australia who are watching us on SBS. You're very welcome indeed, and I hope that you enjoyed this great occasion in Irish hurling, Limerick versus Offaly. And on that note, let's also say hello to Marty Morrissey, who is down at pitch side at the moment with the latest news for us.
Indeed, Michael, and indeed both dressing rooms, you could say, are quite tense, but in comparison to other All-Ireland finalists, both teams are rather relaxed. Limerick, of course, were first to tug out. Some players were there in the dressing room, decided to tug out, and then thought it was a little bit too early when they looked at their watches, so they put on their clothes again. Offaly are the boys who are getting all the massages from Patsy Carroll, the Offaly team masseuse. Joe Dooley, Dahi Regan were on the table, but now they're fully fit, there's no problems whatsoever. Offaly very casual, I must say, but surprisingly in the last few minutes a little bit tense. They're very concerned as well about the weather, and I can assure you that the wind has increased in velocity in the last few minutes. Certainly when I was here last it was fairly breezy, but now it's a very strong breeze blowing from the canal end down. But both teams very tense but eager to set out the voyage to bring home the Liam McCarthy Cup.
A stiff wind, never something that we want to see in a big hurling match, of course, but I think in fairness we would settle for a bit of breeze today rather than some of the rain, and the heavy rain at that has been threatened upon us. DJ Carey, of course, for you this is a very different view of the All-Ireland final this year, because for the last 3 years you've been down there, you've been in the dressing room minutes before the big off yourself, and I'm sure the nerves building up.
It would, Michael, and I can assure you I'd prefer to be down there today than I would here, but unfortunately for us, Offaly beat us and they're there today. I just noticed, listening to Marty there about the players talking off. That can happen. I mean, there's another 40 minutes or so left to the throw-in. The players are in the dressing room an hour beforehand. They're starting to think, nerves are building up, they want to get out on the field, and it doesn't help to be in there so early. Now you need to be, because some players may have injuries, more players may just want to rub down from the masseur, so the nerves are building up in there.
Reputation has it, however, DJ, that it was never something to over-trouble Kilkenny, because Kilkenny have always had a reputation of being very sort of, I won't say lackadaisical, but sort of easygoing about arriving at Croke Park and, almost to the last minute and so forth. Would that be a true comment?
Well, I don't know about that. If we come up for the last 3 years, we came up the Sunday morning of the match, and I can assure you the nerves would be building up on the train, because there's a big build-up coming up there. I could never take it as being relaxed anyway.
Well, Pete, you've gone through this occasion yourself on 6 different occasions in the All-Ireland final.
Yeah, I have. It's different for us. We would come up on the Saturday night beforehand, and we have more time to kill and more time to hang around, and it's probably the worst time of all once you leave home. And to get you sleeping in different beds and supporters coming in out of the hotel and things like that, it's very hard to cope with. But what the players are probably going through is mental thought now at the moment between themselves, trying to get themselves prepared properly for the game. And as DJ said, it can happen that they can spend too long in the dressing room as well. You want to get out there, but when they come out then they have the cosmetics as well, meeting the president and marching behind the band, and they have to hold their trail of thought for that length of time themselves.
Okay, Pete, thank you for your thoughts for the moment, and DJ Carey as well. So a special day then for the supporters of Limerick and Offaly. It's been a special day for the miners of Galway already. They have won their All-Ireland, but of course on these occasions it's a very special day for another group of people, because we go back 25 years to the Jubilee team who are being honoured here today. The Jubilee team of 25 years ago, 1969, of course, was the Kilkenny hurling team who won the All-Ireland on that occasion, and they are about to be introduced to the crowd.
Bringing the ball out, the ball nicked off his stick there by Ger Canning. Down to Paddy Moran. Paddy Moran sends it right into full forward. Martin Brennan. Martin takes his shot and it's over the bar for another point for Kilkenny. And now Kilkenny coming away with Paddy Moran. Paddy Moran in towards the goal mouth. Martin Brennan's shot knocked down by a full-hearted Tony Marr. Tony coming up this side of the field, being chased, kicking the ball upfield. Goes to Paddy Moran. Paddy Moran takes his shot, and Paddy Moran has sent it over the bar. Eddie Kerr, who's got 6 of Kilkenny's points, adding to this one, but comes and comes down to him again. He takes his shot and he sends it over the bar for another Kilkenny point.
Yes, the Kilkenny team of 25 years ago, and there's a familiar face for you. Eddie Kerr leads out the side, and Michael Lyster is about to do the introductions.
1969. Pan Captain Eddie Kerr.
Out onto the field.
Yes, it's a wonderful occasion for Offaly, back in the final for the first time in 9 years. And after a season that promised more than it delivered in terms of high-quality matches, with the outcome in doubt right down to the final minutes, let's hope that the hurling today, on hurling's biggest day of the year, will be rewarded with an engrossing contest. And so Offaly with their team captain Martin Hannamy in there among that group. Joe Dooley there. Jim Troy, a little bit nervous. There's Martin Hannamy to his left. John Troy and Billy Dooley. The Dooleys from Clareen, tiny little village in South Offaly. Johnny Pilkington there, one of the great characters. Kevin Kinahan, the fullback. Kevin Martin, the only Tullamore player ever to play in an All-Ireland hurling final in the colours of Offaly. There's Brian Wheelahan. So the subs move off, leaving the 15 to be photographed. These photographs that will be adorning quite a few walls and mantelpieces and so on, I'm sure, in the years to come, if they win the Liam McCarthy Cup for the 3rd time, 1981 and 1985. They have a 100% record of playing in finals here at Croke Park. Their one loss, of course, was in the 84 centenary final to Cork, but that was played in Semple Stadium in Thurles. Martin Hannamy having a wonderful season so far, today playing in his 17th championship match. First played in the championship in 1987. And let's take a check on the Offaly team. In Offaly's case, the same 15 that took the field against Galway are given a vote of confidence. Brendan Kelly, concussed and substituted 4 weeks ago, is in once again at full forward, while the real debate behind the scenes was the question of who would get the left corner forward berth, and to a lesser extent the full forward slot. And there were 4 lively contenders here, but along with Brendan Kelly, Damien Pilkington is the one selected to join Billy Dooley in the inside forward line. And here come Limerick. A deafening ovation as the Shannonsiders race out quite literally onto Croke Park. Damien Quigley, one of the last ones out there. 14 years they've waited. Gary Kirby, the team captain. Well, I think on the decibel level, Limerick just about shading it. They've got the Canal End terrace here. Fans packed in there tightly. Everybody wanted to get to see this. Frankie Carroll, the player on the left-hand side, and Gary Kirby here, nephew, of course, of the Bennisses, who were stars in 1973. In that memorable final, as Limerick won the Liam McCarthy for the first time in 33 years that day. And so they come across to have the photographs taken. Mike Galligan in a bit of a race across here on the left-hand side. Steve McDonough, the player who's on the bench already. Limerick's 14th time to play in the final. And that last in 1980, when Galway won a compelling tussle by just 3 points. And there's Mike Galligan, who was married just a week ago. There was the doubt, of course, about the bone that he broke in the hand. And also he sustained a back injury. That's Joe O'Connor there from Ballybrown. Kieran Carey, Joe Quaid, and Mike Galligan. And so right along here, Damien Quigley alongside Steve McDonough. Mike Houlihan there just second from the left alongside TJ Ryan. And there's Pat Heffernan, school teacher. Indeed, his boss is in the Limerick subs. That's Brian Finn. So they may not be at school for a couple of days after this, depending upon the result, of course. And so Gary Kirby and his side come down towards the Limerick fans on the canal end in this unique final pairing, the 106th All-Ireland Hurling final. And this is how Limerick will line out today. The biggest scare story, of course, from their point of view is the hand injury and that back injury I mentioned of Mike Galligan. However, he's been past fit to play, while back into the fray comes full forward Pat Heffernan as the Shannonsiders revert to the side that won the Munster Championship. Leo O'Connor is the unlucky one to lose out today. Goalkeeper Joe Quaid had been hampered by a throat virus, but in the event he starts his 5th championship match behind the usual defence. Significant that the rival selection committees follow the same line, basically opting for basic continuity rather than wholesale change. So a wonderfully colourful occasion. Taoiseach Albert Reynolds there in consultation with Sean Dignan. Bertie Ahern just to his left as we watch it. So that the Ord Corley section. And across there you see Jerry Bennis, the county chairman, standing just in front of the substitutes. And Dave Mahidi running onto the field here, the team trainer. Eamon Cregan, perhaps the man of the moment here, who won, of course, an All-Ireland medal in 1973. And he's sporting a green jersey, very diplomatic indeed. He was trying to be calmness personified down in the dressing room area. He was telling me that they actually arrived about 15 minutes ahead of his scheduled time. Andy Gallagher here as well, from Tullamore, long time associated with Offaly teams in major occasions. And Eamon will have noted that Offaly are in their lucky dressing room here at Croke Park, because the dressing room just to the left-hand side as you enter it from the field is their lucky one. They were in there in 1981 when they won it, and there again in 1985. Tom Ryan from Ballybrown and Limerick, first year in charge of the side. Rory Kiley alongside him there, and Rory has been a bit of a good luck charm over the years with Limerick teams. And the other selected there, of course, as well, Liam Lenihan. This panoramic view now of Croke Park, the old and the new, as it were. The Hogan stand away on the far side. We're looking at from the corner of the new stand, and the Artane Boys band just down there, assembling, waiting for the arrival of the President of Ireland. And Limerick, in terms of colour and splashes of colour, well, they may just be shading it ever so slightly. When you've waited so long to get here, well, my goodness me. And the lucky ones to have managed to get the tickets, they've been so hard to come by. And I'm sure they'll be every bit as scarce for the football decider. And Dublin and Down fans might be interested in the draw that's organised by the Cork County Board. They've got, I think, it's 100 stand tickets and 100 terrace tickets on offer for a fortnight's time. And the monies raised from that will be going back into the game at a youth level. So it might be well worth supporting. So that's this splendid scene. John 3-7, Offaly 4-8. Little biblical touch at the outset here. Indeed, at the start of the year here, who would have predicted an Offaly-Limerick final? Both counties, of course, went out in the first round of the championship last year. Admittedly, in Offaly's case, it was over a hotly debated refereeing decision, and to the eventual champions Kilkenny. So the teams now lining up to be introduced to the President of Ireland. Mary Robinson about to arrive here. So Shocking Oakter on the Heron. Sean Boothman, Inena Clay. So now Jack Boothman will accompany the President to meet first of all the Offaly team, and they'll be introduced by Martin Hannamy. For many people, I suppose today's finalists have been emerging talent over the past 8 to 10 years, although that's not entirely accurate. The Limerick team that won the centenary year minor final after a replay never quite made it as a unit at senior level. And only Ger Hegarty and Gary Kirby of today's team faced Kilkenny 10 years ago with Declan Nash among the subs, while Offaly people have been waiting for these young fellas to come through, great minor teams of the 80s. And they talk fondly of in the Midlands of the great work done Well, the presentation brothers in fostering the game. Brian Whelan was mentioning to me brother Vincent, who's now down in Cork. He did some great coaching at schools level. Billy Dooley there, learned his hurling in Bar as well. They talk fondly about the brothers bringing them in at 8 o'clock in the morning to organise training sessions way above and beyond the call of duty. But that nurturing has come through. And John MacDonald, we've got Willie Barrett, of course, our match referee from Finnerty, Dickie Murphy from Wexford, and now Gary Kirby having a couple of focal with Oakter on the Hayden and Joe Quaid. Mike Nash here, who played in the championship for the first time back around 1989 against Carey, came on briefly, and he's come back with a vengeance this year. His brother Declan there, a great day for brothers, 4 sets of brothers involved, 3 in the case of the Dooleys, and so it's all set for a wonderful occasion, a uniquely Irish occasion.
Yes, certainly, Ger, all set for that. And so in a moment the teams will go to the parade. The president will take her place in the stand for this afternoon's match. We'll take a brief commercial break. We'll be back with the All-Ireland final directly after that. Gary Kirby then leads his team around for the 1994 All-Ireland final. The scene is set for the first ever meeting of Limerick and Offaly in a senior final. Let's join our big match commentator for the occasion, Ger Canning.
Yes, and it's Limerick who won the toss, and they're going to play from right to left in the first half, and they'll be wind supported. The breeze is blowing down towards the goal at the railway end. We noticed there in the parade there, it may not be all that terribly significant, but Offaly were very, very focused, looking ahead the whole time, as though they had a target in mind, a goal to aim at, whereas Limerick were inclined to look around and enjoy the whole thing. Maybe they're that bit more relaxed, not quite sure. Once again, a check on the Offaly team with some great brothers, of course, involved. The Troys, also, of course, the Pilkingtons and the 3 Dooleys. Like a finish out on the wheel. The atmosphere is absolutely wonderful at Croke Park. We await the 106th final. The combined Artane boys, the boys band and the senior band, that's the trophy they're playing for. The first team ever to win it was Limerick. They won it 7 times in all. Well, 1 or 2 of those victories were in the days before the McCarthy Cup itself was up for the big prize. That's what they're all playing for this afternoon. Check on the Limerick team. The doubt, of course, about Mike Galligan is cleared up. Pat Heffernan takes back the full forward position, so it's basically their Munster final team. Willie Barrett, who's handled some very big matches over the last few years, very good referee. He's in charge, assisted by Dickie Murphy and John MacDonald. And this, the panoramic view of Croke Park at the start of the final between Offaly and Limerick. And straight away it's Ger Canning. He could be a major factor in this game if he gets motoring early on. Down towards Heffernan. Kevin Kinahan has had a great season, winning that first ball. Heffernan may well opt to try and pull him out of position as much as possible. Shane McGuckin now, the veterinary surgeon based in Gorey, towards Johnny Pilkington. It'll be Pilkington against Ger Canning, and the strong men in the middle. Mention of strength. Here's Ger Haggerty. Released outside towards Frankie Carroll, just a little hint of nervousness. Kevin Martin going across to Mark. Ger Haggerty now firmly out of position. It's Gary Kirby who picks it up. First time to get on the ball. Should be quite a tussle with Hubert Rigney. Mention of Hubert, here he is. Comes straight to Mike Houlihan. Going for the score. Great point. Well, he started in devastating fashion against Antrim as well. And so Limerick off the mark straight away. Jim Troy today playing in his 23rd championship match. Ger Hegarty under the dropping ball, batting it down, keeping it away from John Troy. Really fired up for the occasion, making sure he wasn't hooked on his left-hand side. And that's when the inside forward line would have preferred a much better supply of the ball than that. Did well to come back from a career-threatening cruciate ligament injury back in October 1992. Missed the championship campaign last year. Jim Troy today seeking a third senior medal. He was deputy to Damien Martin in 1981. Mike Houlihan touches it away towards Frankie Carroll, star of the Limerick team against Antrim, but then in their half-forward line they've had a different star every day. Gary Kirby was very much the star against Cork. Gary playing in his 18th championship match. Offaly get the sideline cut, and it's going to be Kevin Martin who'll come up to take this one. Driven towards John Troy, added to it well. Joe O'Connor slightly off balance. Oh, it's a penalty, it is a penalty. Damien Pilkington, I think the player was coming in that time. Steve McDonough going across. Here it is again. This is Damien Pilkington on his way, and that's where the penalty was called for. So 3 men on the goal line. First scoring chance then for Johnny Dooley. Well, Johnny Dooley has been in great scoring form. 22 points so far in the championship. Going for the goal, comes off the foot of Joe, and it's in. Joe Dooley, after 3.5 minutes. Joe following up very quickly indeed. Watch as the other Joe Quaid, got a foot to this. A free taken by Johnny Dooley, and his older brother was in quickly. Great alert play by the Offaly forwards. Gary Kirby, but the referee has whistled. It's going to be a free in for Limerick. So you see in the top left-hand corner the points tally the whole time, and the goal being 3 points in hurling and in football, and Joe Dooley the goal scorer. So the Limerick captain going for the point, making the score, his first of the afternoon, first chance as well. So the game now settling down nicely. Declan Nash. Mike Houlihan missed it. Kieran Carey trying to follow on. Johnny Pilkington. Stalemate situation. Finally broken up there by Mike Houlihan. Now Hubert Rigney. Very stylish performer on his left-hand side. Driven in well. And Joe Quaid called on to make the save. Defiantly knocked back well over midfield in towards the half-forwards. Damien Quigley coming out for it. Taking it neatly up onto the stick, getting away from the 3 Offaly men there. Quigley bearing down on goal. He has support. It's a goal! From Joe Quaid's lengthy puck down to Damien Quigley, and he beats Jim Troy, all ends up. Well, I mentioned he had support because TJ Ryan was away on the left, on the right-hand side as he was watching it, but he didn't need him. Great goal. And I think Jim Troy will be a little concerned that he might have got a stick on that one. So 2 goals then in the space of 2 minutes. Frankie Carroll starting well. It'll be very important for Limerick that their half-forward line should play well this afternoon. Hubert Rigney trying to deny them, and Kevin Martin. That went through the legs there of Ciarán Carey. Runs on to Johnny Dooley, the youngest of the three Dooleys playing here. Towards Brendan Kelly. More than prepared to take Mike Nash out of position. Billy Dooley, and that's gone away to the left. First wide of the match from an Offaly point of view. Normally so sharp. And Jim Troy here was well beaten. Gary Kirby supplying the ball towards Mark Galligan. That should be quite a tussle between Galligan and Brian Whelan. Once again, Quigley gets away, and this time it's gone just to the left. Can't have been much in it. Limerick second wide. But it's Limerick who lead by 2 points. Ger Hegarty combining there with Declan Nash. Belting it away once again, this time towards TJ Ryan. Pat Heffernan coming out as well. Out on the 45-metre line. Knocked in towards Frankie Carroll, who had moved on inside. Handles with some difficulty. And that went off Kevin Martin. It's gone for a 65. Frankie really had a storming match in the Antrim game, but he was given a lot of latitude. And that's something which Kevin Martin will be making sure he doesn't enjoy this afternoon. Some spectators across at the far side enjoying the sunshine as well as the hurling. Thankfully it stayed very dry. And that's just gone to the right and it's gone wide. Jim Troy deciding to put on the baseball cap to repel the sunshine. Dáithí Regan under this one once again, trying to get it forward. Options opening up ahead of him. Nicely forward, and that's a point. Joe Dooley, the point scorer, to add to the goal he got in the 3rd minute. So Offaly's first point to go with the goal. Joe Quay there was trying to influence the umpire that had gone just outside. Dáithí Regan, sun in the eyes. Gary Kirby keeping it moving inside. TJ Ryan, partly blocked down, comes out to Gary Kirby again. And again it's gone to the left. That's 4 wides now for Limerick. And they're having the chance, and of course they have a breeze at their backs in the first half. Doesn't appear to be as strong a breeze as it was earlier on in the afternoon, however. Ciarán Carey just doing enough, and then losing out to Johnny Pilkington, surrounded by Limerick players, one of them Ger Hegarty. Straight to the man he should be marking, John Troy. Man outside, Johnny Pilkington. And again going to the left. Some inaccurate finishing now from each team. Brian Whelan misses that one. Runs on towards Damien Quigley. Mike Galligan trying to pick it up, supported here by Gary Kirby, trying to squeeze this one inside, but no such luck. Substantial number of wides now for Limerick. The other end of the field, it's Mike Nash who is marking Brendan Kelly. Hoping to see more of the ball as well. Joe Dooley inside towards John Troy, up into the corner towards Declan Pilkington. Doing well, getting away from Steve McDonough. Still Declan Pilkington. Referee allowing an advantage, comes back out towards Brendan Kelly, and further back out again towards Billy Dooley. The snapshot and the point by Billy Dooley. So the team's level for the first time in this match. Gary Kirby watching it all the way, seeing it sailing over his head. Damien Quigley was coming out for it, but it's with Dáithí Regan towards Joe Dooley. Dooley doing well so far against Dave Clark. Clark had been very much the Limerick star in the campaign so far. Here he is now. Doing well to get away from any would-be hoop by Dáithí Regan. And he's put it wide as well. They really are missing a lot of pretty simple chances. That's Declan Nash beaten for it. It's Johnny Dooley. He's got support outside from John Troy. And the referee deciding that it's going to be a Limerick free. John Troy dropping the hurley. And the free to Limerick. Joe Quaid had a quick little practice there, rolling this one up. Replaced his cousin, of course, in goal for Limerick, Tommy Quaid. Hubert Rigney watching it in there. Frankie Carroll taking it up. Good skill. Trying to fire over a point, mishitting. Back it in it comes. Shane McGuckin watching there as Johnny Pilkington hits that one off the referee, Willie Barrett, and he will throw the ball in. So after just about 13.5 minutes play, we're hoping that the two teams can settle down a bit more. They've looked a bit nervous. Kieran Carey. And that time fouled by Hubert Rigney. And a fair side-to-side charge as the rule book decrees it. And so Limerick have the chance to edge in front. This the incident here as Hubert Rigney was shoulder into the middle of Kieran Carey. Gary Kirby, scorer of a point already in the game. And there's a second. And Limerick are in front. So 1-3 to 1-2. Joe Dooley going across there to try and keep that ball in play. Defended by Dave Clark. Clark doing well. Gaining in confidence. On to Kieran Carey. Trying to fire in a point from way out the field. Just to the left. And that's Limerick's 7th wide. And only a quarter of an hour gone in the first half. The Limerick bench, I think, will be anxious about the many misses, but at the same time happy that they are creating chances. Ger Hegarty. Declan Pilkington laying it on the line there towards Dáithí Regan. To Joe Dooley. Defended by a combination of players. That's going away to the right of the goal, left as we look at it. Well, the breeze is obviously a factor. It's a little blustery out there this afternoon. Eamon Cregan in the background there. One of the great coaches in modern day hurling. Difficult situation for him, but he has a job to do and he's doing it well. Gary Kirby trying to handle. Breaks down towards Mike Gallagher and Frankie Carroll. It's with Carroll. Outside to Ger Canning. That looks a good deal better. And the Patrick's well man gets his first point of the day, and Limerick lead by 2. This is where Frankie Carroll set it up very neatly indeed for the centre field player on his left-hand side, confidently executed, and a very good point. Dáithí Regan trying to handle without the stick now. Frankie Carroll on towards Ciarán Carey. Trying to take it by Hubert Rigney. Kevin Martin nipping in. Runs back to Gary Kirby. Beating Hubert Rigney to it. Good ball inside, defended well by Kevin Kinahan. The revelation he's been this year. And Brian Whelan clearing his lines. Down towards Johnny Dooley. John Troy taking it down. Taking it round Ger Hegarty, but not quite notching the point. It was a good move. Started back in their own back line. But Limerick continued to lead, as you see, by those 2 points. Joe Quaid getting very good distance into it, into the half-forward line. Anticipating was Dáithí Regan. Runs on towards John Troy. Billy Dooley was coming near side for it. Joe O'Connor, the defender, back now to Billy Dooley. Going for the pot shot. And does it squeeze inside? It does. Just sufficiently. And Billy has his second point of the match. And the lead is cut back to just a solitary point. John Troy doing well. Standing his ground there against Joe O'Connor. But having the vision to pick out, well, it wasn't hard to pick it out because Billy was right alongside him. Good shot nonetheless. Johnny Dooley. Next to forage back into midfield occasionally. Frankie Carroll now. Going for the point himself, wind assisted. But it carries to the right. Far too many misses really by Limerick. 8 so far against half that tally for Offaly. The green jersey on there, it's hard at times to remember which county he's coaching. While Eamon tends to move up along the sideline, Tom Ryan tends to sit in his seat and let the players get on with it. Johnny Dooley locating his brother Billy, returning the favour, but a difficult one because Joe O'Connor was in quickly. Joe from Ballybrown, Tom Ryan from Ballybrown as well. Dr. Dave Boylan just ahead of them there. Well, they'll be unhappy with the misses, no doubt about that. They lead by just a point, and they should be much further ahead, you feel. Declan Nash into the centre towards Mike Gallagher. Partly blocked down by Brian Whelan. Nice skill, beautifully outside to Johnny Pilkington. Is this a point? It is! Pilkington's first. And the sides are level. So for the second time, teams level here in this All-Ireland hurling final. This is where Brian Whelan won a vital battle. Back there to Johnny Pilkington from a huge distance out, and a great score. Blocked down well there by Johnny Pilkington. And Hurling in the centre there. Kevin Kinahan winning that clash there with Pat Heffernan. Now Damien Quigley. Turning well, an acute angle. It was acute, but he managed it. So a goal and a point now for Damien Quigley. And Limerick ahead once again. It's becoming a seesaw battle here. He had to make a bit of an angle for himself. Beat Kevin Kinahan, the full back, and did really well. Dáithí Regan can't hold on to it. Flicked away by Ger Hegarty. Kevin Martin just nudged away sufficiently by Frankie Carroll. Then he got a block on it. Frankie ready to take the sideline cut. Eamon Cregan calling out the instructions to his Offaly charges. No man knows Limerick better, I suppose, than Eamon Cregan. Dave Clark towards Gary Kirby, caught it well ahead of Hubert Rigney, and he's made the most of it. The umpires had a quick consultation. The man on the left said to the man on the right, put up the flag. Gary Kirby's third point. And the Limerick fans enjoying this so far, I'm sure, but just about 21, 22 minutes gone, as you can see. Ger Hegarty, another fine catch. Limerick with three men there. Mike Houlihan, one of them. Cross towards Mike Galligan, who seems to have switched with TJ Ryan. Galligan now top of the right. Galligan left half forward. Kevin Kinahan back there, struggling to get it away from the attentions of Mike Galligan. And they'll test the inexperience of this full-back. Nicely across by Kevin Martin to Brian Wheelahan. Joe Dooley prods it on. In there towards Declan Pilkington. Pilkington, the player involved in the penalty incident much earlier on in the game. Well, Offaly's defence still standing quite firm against the incessant Limerick pressure, but they need a bit more jizz, you feel, from midfield upwards. Dave Clark. Touchdown here towards Frankie Carroll. Towards Quigley. And again defended very well there by Shane McGuckin. McGuckin was the full-back on the championship team between 1991 and 1993. Today playing in his 7th championship game. Gary Kirby coming across. Player who first played in the championship against Waterford down in Semple Stadium in 1987. TJ Ryan feeding it back to him. Trying to make a better angle. Good block again by Brian Wheelahan. Johnny Pilkington trying to dominate at midfield. Johnny Dooley. And again it's Mike Houlihan settling in very well. Towards Gary Kirby. Frankie Carroll having some very good moments against Kevin Martin. This time blocked by Johnny Pilkington and whipped away by Daithí Regan. John Troy has it. Inside towards Brendan Kelly. The hand of Mike Nash just getting in the way. Stalemate momentarily. Declan Pilkington there with Steve McDonough, runs on towards Joe O'Connor. O'Connor defending against Billy Dooley. In there as well is Declan Pilkington, and that's going to be a free in. So a free for Offaly, who trailed by just 2 points. Well, Johnny Dooley coming out here to take this free. Johnny without a score so far in this match, but he has certainly been one of the stars in the campaign to date. He's the one who took the penalty, of course, in which his brother Joe got the goal. And that's gone to the left and wide. Normally a very, very accurate shooter. Pressure is great this afternoon. Stakes are so high. Still just 22, not quite 23 years of age. And that's one that got away from him. I'm sure Eamon Cregan will have much to say when the half-time break comes in about 10 minutes' time. They certainly want to get them buzzing again. They've allowed Limerick to dominate. Damien Quigley, Gary Kirby on his knees, the 50-50 tussle results with Shane McGuckin having possession towards Brian Wheelahan. Tidy and such an efficient and good striker. Up towards Declan Pilkington, beaten by Dave Clark. Clark from Kilmallock in Limerick. Martin Hannamy trying to break it away. TJ Ryan snapping onto it quickly. Hasn't had too many chances so far, yet to score in this game. One of the newcomers to come into the championship scene at the outset of this championship at that match against Cork. Eamon Cregan just having a look around to see any possible switches that he might make. although by and large he's tended to keep with the balance of the team all through this championship. That runs on to Johnny Dooley, has support from Johnny Pilkington on his left-hand side, in towards Brendan Kelly, was slipping, and Mike Nash was out first time. He's playing well. Now having to get it away. Joe Dooley prodding it forward. Intended for Declan Pilkington, comes up to Dave Clark instead. Clark racing away, avoiding the would-be hoop. On it goes towards Mike Houlihan, his clubmate. Takes it up, has support if he needs it. Fires it through the centre towards Frankie Carroll. Frankie against Kevin Martin. Game being played in a very good spirit so far, very sporting match. Pat Heffernan, taken by Kevin Kinahan. Towards Daithí Regan, breaking it down well for himself. Mike Houlihan just about keeping the ball in play, or did he? Not quite. It's going to be a line ball. Pat Heffernan, the Limerick full forward, is down there injured. And Dave Mahidi is in very quickly. Dave has done so well to train this team. And Dr. Dave Boylan in as well. It's a facial injury. There's the replay once again. Kevin Kinahan was defending his lines well. Pat Heffernan was in pursuit and he caught the stick quite accidentally. Nonetheless, felt the effects. And looks just a nasty little cut there, but it'll be tidied up, and I'm sure some people might wonder why players, not everybody, wears a helmet. Ger Hegarty breaking it down towards John Troy, bidding to dominate there at centre half forward. And even though he slipped, Declan Nash in a switch of position, still one possession. Pat Heffernan is still being attended to, so Limerick momentarily down to 14 players. Martin Hannamy also seemed to catch a knock that time. So both teams down to 14. And that's taken away well towards Mike Galligan. Galligan, who is such a star, went on his game. Jim Troy watching the whole time. Pat Heffernan back in the action. The sun in Jim's eyes didn't help, but he's getting support from Kevin Kinahan, whose jersey was pulled. And the referee says play on. Great relieving clearance by the fullback to Mike Galligan for Limerick. Limerick who lead by 1-6 to 1-4. Fired in again the sun troubling Jim Troy, does well. Experienced campaigner, back out to his team captain Martin Hannamy, back on his feet once again. Mike Houlihan spreading it wide to Kieran Carey. Lobbed in, oh, that's a goal! Damien Quigley's got a second. Nearly 29 minutes gone in the first half. And Limerick's second goal, credited to Damien Quigley. Kieran Carey fired it in, but watch for the little flick. There it is, brilliant goal. So Damien Quigley, who's come in as one of those players that you expected a big performance from, and my goodness, he has delivered. One of the lesser known players, but my goodness, how he has served his county well there. That was a great goal. An Offaly player down injured in the half-forward position. Can't see who it is from here. It's Joe Dooley. Joe, who played in the All-Ireland finals in 1984 and in 1985. Happily back on his feet again. He's already got a goal and a point in this match. Indeed, Offaly need a greater spread of scores from their forwards. Only two of their forwards have scored so far, Billy Dooley and Joe Dooley. Not that Limerick have been enjoying a much better spread, it has to be said. Gary Kirby and Damien Quigley, their only scorers in the forward line. And a substitution is being made. And Joe Erity, I think, is coming in. It looks like Joe Erity is coming in there. And Shane McGuckin is the player who's being replaced. And he's coming in to mark Damien Quigley, the player who's been doing the damage. Erity has been showing up very well in training. Let's have another look at this goal once more. See the positioning here of Damien Quigley as he followed it in. He was well outside the small rectangle, and a super finish. 5 minutes to half time. Dave Clark, shuffle on the shoulders just to throw the Offaly man off his scent. Ger Canning down again into that inside forward line. That's been causing many problems. Kevin Kinnan has lost the stick, kicking it away. Frankie Carroll in pursuit. Kevin Martin going across there as well. Cross towards Damien Quigley once again, looking for the hat-trick, of course, now. Well, Tom Ryan will have noted all the misses earlier on, but they've got those 2 precious goals and a lead of 5 points. So now really it's asking questions of Offaly, who are the overwhelming favourites coming into this match. Joe Dooley, stopped by Joe Quaid. Clearing his lines very quickly indeed. It's been the kind of match where you strike first and ask questions later on. Towards Quigley once again, the danger man. Getting away from Joe Erity, looking for the hat-trick, he misses. Gets the second shot in, however, but wide of the goal. Well, he really is causing so many headaches. Jim Troy making the clearance. Kieran Carey under it. Sensing that there may be a few more scores on just before half-time, and that's one of them. A second for Kieran Carey. Well, with the wind at their backs, they want to build up a substantial lead. Their lead is 6 points right now, but is it enough? Once again, Quigley was bearing down there on the goal of Jim Troy. That's where he missed, and then hooked his second shot wide of the goal. Well, much to the delight of Jim Troy. This great catch here by Kieran Carey. Great score. Here he is again. Very much the jewel in the crown. Back to TJ Ryan. Loves to roam, would like to score, but hasn't done just yet. Well, Limerick so far with, I make it 4 scorers against Offaly's 3. And in scoring chances, Limerick have created a whopping 24 chances so far, taking 9 of them. Offaly just 13 chances created, and they've taken just 5. Their goal and 4 points. Kieran Carey asking a lot of Mike Galligan to get across and get that one. He did well, but the linesman is flagging. Going to be an Offaly ball. Martin Hannamy, the one who won the race. Well, Limerick are magic, the youngsters say, on the canal end. And the whole of the second half still to come to see if they can take the McCarthy Cup back for the 8th time to Shannon's side. Eamon Cregan just checking the watch. I make it just, as you can see, over a minute to go. It's been a very open first half with very few frees as we watch Johnny Pilkington and Dave Mahidi get out of his way. But Offaly have been strangely listless in this first half. They really will need to tear into Limerick in the second half if they're to take the cup back to the faithful county. Brian Wheelahan belting it forward. Joe Dooley. Just not happening for him. The hand bandage there, the legacy of a cycling accident a couple of weeks before this final. Brilliantly cut up by Dave Clark towards Mike Galligan, and to dance his way away from the challengers. The 2-man attack is in there, causing the problems. Quigley has it, and that's fired over the bar. 2 goals and 2 points for Damien Quigley from the Piershigs in Limerick. What a match he's playing. His first goal after 5 minutes, his second after 29, and now on the call of half-time he's got another score, a point. This, once again, that last attack. Must be very close to half-time now. Damien Quigley, by the way, is now being marked by Martin Hannamy in a switch at corner back, with Joe Erity moving across to the other corner. John Troy and the referee in there, pointing the way. Free to Offaly. Ger Hegarty's side leading by double scores. And Ger lying prostrate. Player has given some great service to Limerick down the years. Won the minor All-Ireland, of course, in 84 and the under-21 in 87. And hoping that this will be the day to complete that great set of medals. Johnny Dooley the taker, and that's a point. A first score for Johnny Dooley, the Sarah Kieran's player. So just 6 between them. Sun into the eyes of the Offaly backs. Gary Kirby taking it well. Great style, but has he got the accuracy? Not quite. Gary with 3 points so far, 2 of them from play. The half-time whistle has been sounded here. Limerick have had the better of the first half, no question about that. They've dominated in defence, given some great ball into their forwards, and Damien Quigley has helped himself to 2 goals and 2 points out of Limerick's half-time tally. They lead at half-time by 6 points. It's Limerick 2-8, Offaly 1-5. And certainly Eamon Cregan and his Offaly selectors will be in there hammering a few home truths to their players, because they really have to produce the goods in the second half, otherwise the cup is going to Limerick. Pat Heffernan there, picking up an injury in the first half, didn't score, but they've had some good service, and they should perhaps be even a few more points ahead. So Eamon then composing himself just before going in, normally a very calm demeanour, and I'm sure he'll just tell the players in a calm, straightforward fashion what has to be done if they're to come out and win the second half and the cup. Paul Mulhare there alongside him. And Marty Morrissey, I think, might have somebody to talk to just as they go in at half-time. Marty.
Yes, indeed, Ger. Andy Gallagher, Offaly selector at half-time. Your thoughts? Your team not playing that well, Andy?
No, we haven't got into the game at all at this point in time, although we have hurled again a fairly strong breeze.
Where do you see the biggest problem now?
Well, I don't know. I suppose it's to motivate them to go out in the second half and hurl as they're capable of hurling and bringing All-Ireland home to Offaly.
Damien Quigley is causing you problems at corner forward.
Yeah, he's been very dangerous, but hopefully that one's solved now.
Thank you, Andy Gallagher.
So the advantage with Limerick at half-time then, but it is only 6 points. That's not a great deal in hurling, and Offaly have played against the breeze in that first half. Still everything to be decided in this year's All-Ireland final, and we'll find out exactly what's going to happen later on after this commercial break. Croke Park, Frank Patterson is entertaining the crowd, and he's giving them his version of Limerick, You're a Lady. To start, Peter Finnerty, the penalty award to them, and gave them the goal they needed.
I thought to do this decision myself. I didn't really think that it was a penalty, but in fairness to the referee, his back was turned to it here. I think Johnny Pilkin lost control more than anything else there. But he awarded the penalty, and Joe Dooley took it from the rebound. It was a great start for Offaly, and they maintained a good flow there for about 15 minutes. But Limerick have pulled away again. But this man, Damien Quigley, has been phenomenal in the corner. He's had a magnificent 2 goals.
Good stop on the penalty initially here by Joe Quaid, of course.
Well, Joe stuck out his leg, and it was a great brave save. But Joe Dooley was in like a light, and he just chipped it up and into the back of the net. It was a magnificent start for Offaly. But that only counteracted the earlier Limerick goal.
Here's a look at it from another angle from our in-goal camera, and you'll see the foot of Joe Quaid just gets to the ball here, Pete. But as you said, Joe Dooley very quick off the market in there.
Great brave save by Joe, but Joe Dooley was in like a light.
OK, now this is the next goal, of course, that we saw. This one for Limerick, and what a run this was by Damien Quigley.
Excellent. He got the ball maybe 30, 40 yards out and got the break and went clean through. You'd have to wonder where the Offaly cover was in that incident, but Martin Hannamy didn't get to him on time. But it was an excellent strike into the far corner.
Jim Troy obviously saw things a little bit late there, because he didn't make any great attempts to get at it, one felt.
Well, in fairness to him, he hasn't got an awful lot of time to think because he's not sure exactly where the ball is going. So he hadn't a lot of time really to think.
Yeah, well, that was a goal that really, from Damien Quigley's point of view, put him on the map. And then came this. And DJ, that was a brilliant piece of action.
That was actually forward three for a goal like that. I mean, the ball comes through, he's been held well and fairly, and all of a sudden he dives out, gets the hurl, gets a flick to it and into the far corner of the net. Goalkeeper has no chance at all.
OK, the Limerick team are out on the field, as you can see. Let's go back again to Ger Canning.
Thank you, Michael, and I don't see any change on the Limerick team. There would be no particular change. Marty, have you got some news?
Indeed, well, in the Offaly camp I can tell you that Hubert Rigney is being moved to wing back, Brian Whelan is going in centre back, Martin Hannamy is going to be staying on Damien Quigley, who's definitely causing problems. And as Offaly come out, I have Tom Ryan, Limerick manager. You must be pleased with the first half performance, Tom.
Yeah, Matt, we're very pleased. We're a bit disappointed we're wide, all right, but other than that, we're pleased with the performance.
Now, you're going to be facing into a rather stiff breeze in this second half. Have you developed any or changed any tactics?
No, we play the ball low now in the second half. The wind is changing. It's hard to score. The wind is possibly the cause of the inaccuracy in our forwards. So you wouldn't know what advantage is playing with it against it today. But we're ready for now.
No changes, Tom.
No changes, Mappy.
Thank you, Tom Ryan.
Thank you, Mappy.
And significantly no changes on the Offaly team either, having made one personnel change during the first half. Joe Erity coming in. But they have the option of players like Michael Duignan and Pat O'Connor. Half-time position then. Limerick ahead by 6 points. Is it enough? Willie Barrett making sure that everybody is back in position. Joe Dooley has switched with Declan Pilkington. Joe's now top of the left. Other than that, no other switches apart from the one that Marty mentioned there. So poised and ready for the second half. 35 minutes then to determine where the cup is going for this year. Johnny Pilkington straight away here. Past the cover of Dave Clark, runs on to John Troy, who's had some very good moments, even against a strong man like Ger Hegarty. Dave Clark again. Hubert Rigney now on this left-hand side, marking Frankie Carroll. And that's Brian Whelan, one of the real stars for Offaly in the first half. Ger Hegarty. Nice hand pass outside, but perhaps just too much from Mike Houlihan. Something similar happened at the start of the first half, I seem to remember. Johnny Pilkington to cut this one up. Nice covering of grass on the park this afternoon. Ger Hegarty defending well. Strongly built fellow towards Frankie Carroll there against Hubert Rigney. Hubert winning it well. Not going so far, just as far as Mike Houlihan for Limerick. Blocked down towards Gary Kirby. Kirby now against Brian Whelan. What a battle that will be. Two very skillful players. It's been a very skillful match overall, and only 6 frees awarded in the first 35 minutes. Damien Quigley, the hero of that first half, gets Martin Hannamy, and that one has gone to the right. Damien Quigley is the scorer of 5 points going into this championship final. This is his 5th championship match. Jim Troy will be happy to have the wind behind him for the second half. Sun has faded momentarily. Doughty Regan added to that brilliantly. Nicely in there towards Billy Dooley, trying to get motoring against Joe O'Connor. Stalemate situation. Dooley playing it back here towards his brother Johnny. Johnny making some space for himself to swing the stick, but to the left. Just 1 point to show for the match so far. Joe Quaid in no particular hurry. Lands in midfield. Declan Pilkington winning that one. Now Ger Hegarty towards Gary Kirby, attempting to play ground hurling, missed it. That's Kevin Martin. This is Brian Whelan trying to nurse it away from the attentions of Gary Kirby. Kirby just got a nod onto it. Damien Quigley. Martin Hannamy is his marker. Well, he's really causing his danger much nearer into goal. Declan Nash. His championship debut against Carey in 1989. Martin Hannamy coming across, denying Damien Quigley the space and latitude this time. Declan Pilkington into space, really giving no chance whatsoever for Brendan Kelly to contain that one. Pilkington now playing at left half forward on Dave Clark. So an as-you-were situation score-wise after about 4 minutes on the second half. Kieran Carey. Denied space, runs out to Johnny Dooley. Thought he was going to be hooked, so he kicks it downfield towards Declan Pilkington, trying to get more and more into the match. This time he's fouled by Steve McDonagh. His father John won a minor All-Ireland medal back in 1958, getting a new stick there. John McDonagh also played at right corner back. This is where he fouled his man Declan Pilkington. Nothing terribly serious, but a free to Offaly. So Johnny Dooley, who is 1 from 3 from his frees so far, and of course being a penalty. And now that's 2 from 4. And Offaly are on the board at the start of this second half, and they peg back the lead to a 5-point lead. The Offaly fans up there on Hill 16 expecting the pyrotechnics and the fireworks now in the remaining half an hour. Ger Hegarty winning his race there with John Troy. Troy, however, gets it forward, stopped by Mike Nash, picking out his brother Declan. The South Liberties players combining well. Another chance for him towards Frankie Carroll, but it's Hubert Rigney who's there first. To Johnny Pilkington. Good supply inside towards Billy Dooley to cause the problems. Goalkeeper is fouled, that's going to be a free out, but that ball was a real tantalising one in there between the full back line, and the goalkeeper is now injured. This is where that ball landed inside there, beyond Joe O'Connor. Joe Quaid coming out. Watch as Billy Dooley and Brendan Kelly were converging, and it's Kelly who caught him. Joe back on his feet again. The man of the moment, Joe Quaid, dropping it into midfield. Ger Hegarty just handles it away, but it's Offaly who are picking up the tempo now significantly at the start of the second half. Declan Pilkington again trying to drill in a score from way out the field, and he's got the range. And the lead now is back to just 4 points. Nothing really in a game of hurling, and in particular in the All-Ireland hurling final. Declan Pilkington's first score. Offaly fans given a bit more hope now. They were never without hope, even when they were 6 points down at half-time. That's a great score. The pressure now very firmly on the Limerick backs. Dáithí Regan trying to win it, comes out towards Kieran Carey. You heard Tom Ryan say that they were going to play it low into the wind if at all possible. Ryan making some good headway, or Kieran Carey rather, back out towards Frankie Carroll. On his left-hand side, well away from the target, and he'll be disappointed with that one. His brothers, of course, played in the All-Ireland final in 1980. Mossy and Brian. Brian came on that day, scored a point. Damon Cregan, who was centre-half back for Limerick the last time they won an All-Ireland. Jim Troy now showing a little bit more urgency. Still plenty of time to go. Broken stick there, out of Dáithí Regan. Mike Houlihan going back. It's Ger Hegarty, in fact. Hegarty leaving it there to Johnny Pilkington, and the Pilkingtons are doing the business at the start of the second half. A few minutes ago it was Declan, now Johnny, his second point, and the gap is down to just a goal really. The action here, which has resulted in Johnny Pilkington picking up a great score from some distance. Back live with the action. It's Offaly who are applying the pressure, and the question's been asked of the Limerick backline. Declan Nash responding positively on his left-hand side. TJ Ryan now. Chased by John Troy. Still Ryan, he's made some great headway. Ball cut out there by Joe Erity, and Erity, the substitute, whipping on it away to the far sideline. Kept in play by Declan Pilkington, who lost his footing. Dave Clark firing it in, dangerously in there into the Offaly goalmouth area. Jim Troy coming out for it, making the save. Game has increased in intensity in the second half. Here's Joe Dooley. Chance of a score here, and Joe Dooley takes it. That's a goal and 2 points, and now he says, come on, we can do it. It's 2-8 to 1-9, 14-12. Limerick by 2. Well, this is a bit more like it now from two sides, and in particular Offaly. Offaly looking for their 3rd All-Ireland success, Limerick looking for an 8th. Joe Quaid, he's had to puck out time and again in the opening 9 minutes of the second half, indicative of the pressure from the faithful county. Dave Clark skipping away from the would-be challengers, just leaving the ball behind to Daithí Regan. Regan prodding it forward towards Johnny Dooley. And that's just too much there for brother Billy to keep in play. I'm sure the Dooley's parents are here enjoying this as well. Sean and Betty. They had another brother, Kieran, who was also in the Offaly team at one stage playing in the league. Ger Hegarty has now switched with Kieran Carey. Kieran Carey's gone back to centre half back. Interesting switch that. Here he is, Carey getting away from the Offaly challenge. Hit into space. Kevin Kinahan going across there against Pat Heffernan. Heffernan, the burly figure, taking it up. Partially blocked down. Comes to Brian Wheelahan. Mike Houlihan taking it with style. Taking it away from Declan Pilkington. Firing it into the forwards. In towards Quigley again. Looking for another one. Stanley couldn't make a connection. And I think he was dreaming of a 3rd, and perhaps one very similar to the 2nd. Probing ball inside by Mike Houlihan. He ran on and on, but Quigley just couldn't make that kind of connection. And Jim Troy really had committed himself. Mike Houlihan. Declan Pilkington playing very well at the start of the second half. On towards Daithí Regan. Remember, just 2 points separating the teams. Not a good shot, however, for an Offaly side that led momentarily after the penalty. And after about 4 minutes play. Frankie Carroll. Well, if Gary Kirby is going to be very tightly marked, perhaps Frankie Carroll or maybe Mike Galligan, who hasn't been a major player in this game so far, can come more into it. Here's Kirby, back to Galligan, but the referee says there was a chop down by Joe Erity, free in. There was no advantage accruing that time, and Mike Galligan had possession. But there's a chance of a Limerick score here. Eamon Cregan and his selectors have a policy of looking at the substitutes. Joe Erity was very much the substitute in form in the last week, and that has influenced their decision making about who to bring on in crisis situations. Gary Kirby getting that point. First score of the second half for Limerick. Gary Kirby's 4th point. Some relieved faces up there on the canal end. People looking at their watches, but there's a long, long time to go. Jim Troy now switching it across. Ger Hegarty reading the intentions. Battling with another strongly built player. Daithí Regan comes out to Johnny Dooley. To Johnny Pilkington, fired it in first time. In towards Brendan Kelly Roller. Kelly, who has really yet to get the better of Mike Nash. Kieran Carey pursuing Joe Dooley. Comes back towards Billy Dooley. The umpires having a look at it, sunshine in their eyes, and then they decide to wave it wide. Billy, the scorer of 2 points in this final so far, out of Offaly's tally of a goal and 9. Tom Ryan there in the centre of picture, his side ahead by a goal. Ger Canning doing well at midfield. It might yet be a very significant switch inside towards Pat Heffernan, breaks down, Jim Troy comes out, skips it away, and it's Quigley who's so sharp this afternoon. That's a point. 2 goals and 3 points now for Damien Quigley. Anything that breaks down in front of goal there, well, and the form he's in today, Damien Quigley is in so quick, so incisive. He really is playing well. His best match in the championship by a mile. Great catch by Johnny Pilkington. Blocked down well by Ger Canning. It's a great tussle in midfield. That's Quigley again, so sharp. This time Joe Erity going back. But Quigley has it. Well, it hasn't gone wide. It was a chance. Jim Troy against Pat Heffernan. Jim winning the sprint. TJ Ryan. Back. There's no goalkeeper. Gary Kirby. It's over the bar. Martin Hanemy was back there. And Gary Kirby has now scored 5 points. He tells the supporters, come on, cheer us on. 2-9 to 1, 2-11 to 1-9. He's a little happier. Offaly have got to within 2 points. I was watching Jim Troy sprinting in training in Offaly in Tullamore in the last week. Here's Ger Canning again. Taking over at midfield, Kevin Kinahan keeping it away there from Pat Heffernan. Picking it up the second time. And even Damien Quigley powerless to deny him, as Offaly prepare Michael Duignan, and he may be in the fray very shortly. Declan Nash, lovely tidy player. Nice use of the hand pass. Mike Houlihan through the centre. Up it goes towards Mike Galligan. Kept away from him over by Brian Wheelahan. Down it goes. Declan Pilkington watches it come back to Mike Houlihan. Right now the Limerick pair of Houlihan and Haggerty have taken over once again at midfield. Quick look over his shoulder, beating Johnny Pilkington for pace. But the shot not matched by the build-up. And Michael Duignan now about to be introduced by Eamon Cregan. Duignan scorer of 4 points in the championship so far, giving the little slip of paper. And who's the player who's about to be replaced? Duignan's on, and it seems to be Dáithí Regan who's about to make way. Ger Canning had beginning to get on top in that region, hence the change. Duignan in there straight away on Ger Canning, beaten, and it's Haggerty who comes away. He's fouled. Well, it's been a match where there have been very, very few fouls, and Dave Mahidi is told by referee Willie Barrett, away you go. Mind you, Declan Nash wants the trainer in for this incident here, as Kevin Martin caught Ger Canning emerging with possession. And Willie Barrett has had a change of heart and allowed the trainer to come in, and Dr. Dave Boylan as well. Jap here, one of the great Limerick characters, who's been supporting Limerick teams down the years and been involved with many selection committees as well. JP Ryan. Now Dave Clark. In around the house, gathered there by Gary Kirby, the team captain. In towards Pat Heffernan, looking for another goal. Didn't quite connect as he would have wished, but there was a chance. Limerick continuing to lead by 5 points. This was from the free by Dave Clark, really causing some moments of consternation. Great catch by Gary Kirby, then went out to make some space for himself, and watches Pat Heffernan was coming onto it but never really hit it properly. So in the splendid sunshine of Croke Park on a day which started with scattered showers, it's Limerick who are hanging on grimly. Michael Duignan firing it in. Once again there were moments of real danger. Dave Clark, Brendan Kelly looking around just to see what's on, firing it in there to that built-up area. Declan Nash needing support. Steve McDonough. Great clearance under pressure by McDonough, the cornerback. Broken down by Joe Erity of Offaly. Offaly looking for a third All-Ireland success. Johnny Dooley, that's a wonderful block by Mike Houlihan. There have been some great stars on this Limerick team today. One of them has certainly been Mike Houlihan at midfield. Kevin Kinahan. And Kevin was being fouled, pulled back there, and it's going to be a free for Offaly. What a great season the number 3 here has had. And Limerick may just about to introduce a fresh pair of legs. I see Leo O'Connor preparing on the far side. No change has been made just yet. Kieran Carey batting it out. Comes to Michael Duignan. Out to Johnny Pilkington. Scoring chance for Pilkington here. Lashed in. And Brendan Kelly got the stick to it. Was trying to do a kind of Damien Quigley. Well, that's gone wide. And that shot again. Venomously hit in there, but that ends up in the side netting very close. And there's Leo O'Connor coming on. He was a sub back in 1984 as well, when Limerick won the Centenary Minor Championship. And it may well be Mike Galligan who is going to make way. Didn't enjoy the best of luck. And also Pat O'Connor has come in. Pat O'Connor of Cool Derry. There's a cousin, I think, of one of the greats of Offaly hurling. Joe Dooley has made way. Pat Carroll, the player I was thinking of there, the late Pat Carroll. And Pat O'Connor is a cousin of Pat's, sadly died back in 1986, having won All-Ireland medals in 1981 and 1985. Kevin Martin to take this sideline cut. Well taken by Billy Dooley. Now, can Pat O'Connor make a difference? Well, he's not going to get a chance from that attack. That final telling pass by Billy Dooley there, not what he wanted. And certainly not what Pat O'Connor wanted. About 14 minutes remaining. Limerick hanging on to their 5-point lead after Offaly had looked so prominent in the early stages of this second half. Michael Duignan back deep. Batted away there by Joe O'Connor. Limerick full backline has done well. O'Connor dropped in towards Frankie Carroll, trying to skip away from Hubert Rigney, but Brian Whelan came across there off the legs of Frankie Carroll. Runs on here for Leo O'Connor. O'Connor, who's replaced Mike Galligan. The shot from way out the field, and that's a point. His first shot and his first chance to shine. Leo O'Connor puts 6 points between the teams at a critical stage in the match. Time running out now for Offaly. This was a great shot. Very much an individual point by Leo O'Connor. Took it around Joe Erity, and on his left-hand side struck it magnificently, right between the posts. Johnny Dooley now. And this is where Offaly need Johnny and Billy Dooley in particular to really get into the match. Mike Nash watches that one come away from Joe O'Connor. Mike gets another touch in it. Ball comes out to Kieran Carey, and finally to Dave Clark. Great hurler. Runs on. Brian Whelan watching Kevin Kinahan, the fullback, come away for Offaly. Defend well. Send defence into attack. That over the head of Declan Pilkington. Steve McDonough lets it behind there to Pat O'Connor. McDonough gets another chance. And that's going to be an Offaly ball, although there were Limerick people who thought that the last person to touch it was an Offaly player. Johnny Pilkington. Mike Houlihan. Just 12 minutes left now. Joe Erity leaves it behind. Ball still in play. Won't come up first time for Leo O'Connor. Leo was captain of a very good under-21 team back around 1987-88. Gets the second chance. Trying to get away here from Johnny Pilkington. And runs out of space. Puts it out over the sideline. And it's Offaly possession. Referee there has had a look at Hubert Rigney, who was injured in the previous attack. Still on his feet. So Joe Erity will be the taker of this sideline ball. Joe from Burr. Declan Pilkington dropping it in there towards Johnny Dooley. Michael Duignan taking it up very precisely on the 45-metre line, striking for a score, and he's got it to peg back that lead, a more manageable lead, as Michael Duignan is a scorer and there are 5 points between them. Limerick are considering another change. Eamon Cregan also considering his options. Limerick considering Sean O'Neill from Boher, who's a forward. There's a Sean O'Neill and a John O'Neill among the subs for Limerick. Sean is the forward. Dave Clark. Judged to have been fouled by Hubert Rigney. And Limerick in no particular hurry to take the free. Gary Kirby coming across here, bidding to emulate the feat of his uncles Richie and Phil back in 1973. And of course Eamon Cregan was a star on that team as well, 21 years ago. Gary sending it in, but sending it just to the left. Score of 5 points so far. So the best part of 10 minutes still remaining, plus possibly injury time. Picked up well here by Johnny Dooley. Fired in. Good score by Johnny. That's 3 points now for Johnny Dooley. And the lead is whittled away once again, down to just 4 points. It's still possible for Offaly, and Limerick still have a lot of work to do. Significantly, of the 6 forwards who started, only 2 of the Limerick forwards have scored today, whereas 4 of the 6 Offaly forwards managed to get on the scoring sheet. Frankie Carroll, one of those yet to score. Oh, that could have been very dangerous, ending up on the concrete here. It looks like Príomh Mayor John Leonard there, who's helping Frankie to his feet. And Johnny Pilkington just checking that he's okay. And the sheer intensity of pursuing this ball here, Johnny just gave a little push there to Frankie Carroll. It could have been more serious, but thankfully isn't. Full credit to Hubert Rigney, who's done really well on Frankie Carroll. Brendan Kelly now trying to make some headway. Supported here by Declan Pilkington. And Pilkington adjudged to have fouled Kieran Carey. That switch of Kieran Carey and Ger Hegarty from centre-back to midfield has worked wonders. At a time when Kieran was flagging somewhat, Ger came in, used his great physique. And here was Kieran Carey now at centre-half-back, just having been fouled. Pat Heffernan against Joe Erity. Back to Leo O'Connor. Good block by Erity. Comes to Kevin Martin, having dispensed with the helmet now. Kieran Carey rises so high for that one. Mike Houlihan. The cohesion is in this Limerick side. They're well drilled, and certainly they have a great fitness level as well. And they're winning key battles in vital areas of the field. Martin Hannamy in a real hurry. And TJ Ryan there with Damien Martin. The referee says, just cool it down. It's been a good sporting contest so far. Dickie Murphy, the linesman over there. Sheer intensity of the thing. It was one Limerick man who collided with another, Quigley with Ryan. And then, what did you do to me? I did nothing. So it'll be a throw-in. Sensible refereeing by Willie Barrett. Frankie Carroll winning it, but it comes back again to Brian Wheelahan. What a game he's played. Likewise, Ger Canning. Dropped in. Ger under the dropping ball. Comes loose, however, to TJ Ryan. Again, the referee is in there. This time indicting the Offaly player for a foul on TJ Ryan. Brian Wheelahan is the player involved. That'll be a free for Limerick. And just as in that previous incident, it may well be that the Limerick man was felled by his own colleague. Watch it again here. I think it was a Limerick player who collided with a Limerick player, Ger and TJ Ryan. But Limerick get the free in. It's one of those days when things are happening for them. They've been on a bit of a roll all season, and it's continued right here in this All-Ireland final, and Gary Kirby has got point number 6 for the day. And just 5.5 minutes left, and it's 2:13 to 1:11, 19 to 14. Jim Troy, the Offaly team needing possession. They've got to get a goal or two quickly. Michael Duignan, Johnny Dooley now, beating the attempted block. Fired in well there. Billy Dooley taking it, trying to get away. He's fouled by Joe O'Connor on the 20-metre line. Will they go? Well, they were trying, I think, to go for a quick free that time. It didn't work out. Mike Houlihan making sure that everybody in the back line has picked up a man and that the goal is well marshalled. And it's going to be Johnny Dooley who will take it. Would he go for a point? I think he's been instructed to do so. He's going for a goal, and he's got it! A goal at 3 points. That's exactly what Offaly require and what the game has needed. It puts a completely different complexion on this game. Look as he composed himself, drilled it in mercilessly beyond the wall of defenders and away to the far corner. So just 2 points between the teams. Look at the number of players they had back on the line defending, and straight between Ger Canning and Dave Clark. Offaly now feeling that they can turn the tide. Pat O'Connor's in, it's another one, it's another goal. Pat O'Connor has got it. Offaly are in front by a point. 2 goals in the space of a minute and only 4 minutes left. This is where O'Connor from Coolderry got loose. Well, Limerick, I think, were dreaming of the Liam McCarthy Cup going home to Shannonside. But Offaly have taken 2 chances in the space of a minute. And this is the beauty of the game of hurling. Now who's going to win it? Limerick appear to be lording it at times. But you never have an Offaly team beaten. They come from a very small area in County Offaly, the hurling districts. From an 8-mile radius around Burr. They have a great club atmosphere. So too Limerick. Joe O'Connor taking it away as far as Dave Clark. Dispossessed by Billy Dooley, taken here by Brendan Kelly. Kelly playing it out to a loose man, who's Johnny Dooley. Is that a point? It certainly is. A goal and 4 points now all of a sudden for Johnny Dooley. Come on, we can do it, he's saying to his colleagues. Eamon Cregan across on the far side, calling out the instructions as he masterminds what he hopes will be a 3rd All-Ireland win for the faithful county. Ger has it. What a transformation, what a last few minutes in this game. It's anybody's match. But the initiative firmly now with Offaly. Time running away. What will be the Limerick response? McDonough. Towards Frankie Carroll, beaten for it by Hubert Rigney. Comes back to Johnny Pokington, striving to take it up. Good vision, seeing that John Troy was free. Troy trying to tag on another point. But that's over, yes! Just seemed to have gone wide, but he had it perfectly. And there's a goal between them. John Troy's first point of the day. Triumphant fans up there on Hill 16. Ger Hegarty. Now suddenly it's Limerick who need a goal just to stay in it. Well, whoever said the match is never over until the final whistle. It was never truer than in this case here, as Billy Dooley fires in another beauty. A stage of the match when they can do absolutely nothing wrong. That's 3 points for Billy Dooley. Well, they've answered the critics. They've come back. Once again, it's Johnny Pilkington. Ooh, Billy just unable to keep that ball in play. I make it just about a little over a minute left, plus some injury time. An amazing transformation. John Troy picking it up again. Fired outside towards Billy Dooley on his left-hand side. It's just like routine practice now. A 4th point for Billy Dooley. With 5 minutes left, it had looked good for Limerick, and now all of a sudden it's Offaly's match. Brendan Kelly has come out the field, back again to Billy Dooley, nobody marking him, and that's 3 in a row. A superb performance by the young man from Carey in County Offaly, from the Ger Canning's club. Well, they're dancing for joy up on Hill 16. Jubilant fans, a breathless Billy Dooley, and now they lead by 6. And it's Brian Wheelahan, the fans ready to invade Croke Park on the far side. Time almost up, still some time remaining. Almost as good as a point, that one, for Brian Wheelahan. Well, the youngsters are ready to come in and cheer their heroes in front of that new stand. Johnny Dooley slightly off balance, down there it goes towards Pat O'Connor, the race won by Mike Nash of Limerick. Limerick in arrears by 6 points. We're not too long ago they were ahead by that same tally. Leo O'Connor on to Mike Hurling, he has to go for a goal. Inside, Pat Heffernan denied, stopped, and it's Martin Hannamy who whips it away. The Offaly captain, back to TJ Ryan. Inside to Brian Wheelahan. Superb performance by Wheelahan as always. To Johnny Dooley. Took a while to really get into it. But what a finish. Dropping down there. Steve McDonough has it. Booting it clear. Billy Dooley once more. And again they cheer just there at the end line. The couple of wides now don't really matter. When it mattered, they did the business. They came back strongly, and Offaly has won, and it's all over. Offaly the champions in 1994, just like 1981 and 1985. They were looking down and out, but they've come back to win by 6 points. Offaly 316, Limerick 2 goals and 13 points. What a comeback. Famous victory. JP Ryan there, having a word of congratulations with him. There will be instant down there, getting the first of those. But what a day for the faithful county. And they always say you can never beat an Offaly team in Croke Park. Even when they were a good distance behind, they had the self-belief and the conviction. And you think about that free that Johnny Dooley took, that he might have put over the bar and put 5 between them or whatever, and he went for the goal, and all of a sudden it was a completely changed picture. Johnny Pilkington. I believe is his name, and there he is, a proud Offaly supporter. His team did it. It's the stuff dreams are made of. At times like this you have to feel what a wonderful county Offaly is, from simple resources, small resources, but great talent, immense talent. And the great clubs represented, the Burrs and the St. Rynas and the Ger Cannings and the Lusmas as well. No Finnerty or Shinrone this time around, but in the past, how they played their parts. Sympathy as well for Limerick. They looked like they were on their way to a first win for 21 years. But at a critical stage in the match, Offaly got going. And when they got going, they were simply unstoppable. And a breathtaking finish. Martin Hannemy's troops came through to win in convincing fashion. Offaly, the All-Ireland hurling champions.
In a historic week for Ireland, it has culminated in two great games today. Games befitting our great association and the great game of hurling. Cogordagus, Forna Offaly, Cobron Limley of Aaron Law, the Offaly Roby Lauder in York. Agus leis sin, tá ánsar an Cornish seo a bhronna le Captain Offaly, Martin Hannamy.
Jack Boothman, first time as GA president to present the Liam McCarthy Cup to Martin Hannamy of St. Rina's in Offaly. Offaly are the All-Ireland hurling champions for the third time ever. What a day. Triumphant scenes here. I'm thinking of one man who's missing it today. Mick Frawley of Tipperary's in hospital, wished well.
Outron, come and look that scale. Winter Offaly. Connor Hastorm and Cornshard Locka. We're in Gunday Offaly. People of Offaly, we done it! We finally broke the hoodoo of beating a Munster team in the final. At last, our great minors of the 80s came through to be great seniors of the 90s. A lot of hard work went into this team for the last 10 months. A lot of men have to be thanked. So I'll start now. The team physio, Patsy Carey. The team doctor, Brendan Lee. Our four wise selectors, Hodge Mulher, Mick Spain, Andy Gallagher, and Pat Malochney. And these last two men, what can one say about them? They came from Limerick 3 times a week. One lad's name is Derry O'Donovan. We call him a lot worse than that some nights during the winter. The last man I have to thank is Eamon Cregan. To Gary Kirby and his faithful men, I say hard luck. You had it for the taking, but we finished it stronger. But you're a young team, and you'll be back again. 3 cheers for Limerick. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
So Martin Hannamy and his team rejoice on a famous day for Offaly hurling.
Our faithful supporters, he never let us down. And our sponsors, Carey's Meat. Thank you.
I think he's got in all the mentions, and in particular, Derry O'Donovan and Eamon Cregan, the Limerick connection on a day Offaly beat Limerick.
Well, what an extraordinary game of hurling that was. 5 minutes from the end of the match, if you were to say that Offaly would be the All-Ireland champions, you'd find hardly anybody who would have believed you. But there they are, their 3rd All-Ireland ever. There's still a lot more to talk about here from Croke Park, of course, about this amazing game after the commercial break. Do please stay with us. That's the scene at Croke Park in the aftermath of the All-Ireland hurling final, in which Offaly have beaten Limerick on a scoreline of 3-16 to 2-13. And I suppose 2 sets of disbelieving supporters down there. The Offaly supporters find it hard to believe that they've actually won this game, and certainly the Limerick supporters will find it difficult to believe that their side lost, leading all the way through up to those last critical few minutes of the game. DJ Carey and Pete Finnerty have been here in the presentation box with me this afternoon, enjoying that match. And DJ, first of all, your reaction to it?
I'm still a bit shocked, actually, Michael. We were saying here with 5 or 10 minutes to go, if Offaly could get a goal, it might make a good last 10 minutes, and we couldn't see it coming, to be honest. But when it did come, it came in abundance.
Let's have a look at it then, DJ. And as you said, this was the beginning of the big revival.
That's true. I said it to Pete beside me, what would you do? And he said, I'd have to blast it, and we agreed on it. And they blasted it, they did, and scored a great goal. And that was the revival, because just a minute afterwards, Offaly got a goal again, you know, which put them straight into the lead.
We're going to have a look at a couple of replays of this. An awful lot of pressure, obviously, on Johnny Dooley here now.
An awful lot. He rose it very well and struck it well. Struck it low and hard, right into the corner of the net.
It goes without saying, DJ, that had he not got that, I mean, there was no way back for Offaly. It was that or nothing, because they were still 2 points down at this stage.
Yeah, well, in fairness, he had to have a go for it, because they were 5 points down, only 5 minutes left. There's the other goal from Pat O'Connor. But they were 5 points down with 5 minutes left. I felt they had to have a go. He got it, and probably on hindsight will probably win the match, has won the match for Offaly.
Pete Finnerty, Johnny Dooley's goal from the free was the start of the revival, but this was the one that really won the All-Ireland for Offaly.
Yeah, that really was the one. O'Connor watched the ball coming in. There was 2 places that he could have gone. You see it here.
Then came this series of points, of course, and what Offaly couldn't do for 65 minutes, suddenly they couldn't stop doing.
No, they couldn't, and we just said here in the last 6 minutes to go, it looked as if Offaly were dead and buried. But this is the advantage they have of playing here in Croke Park. They scored points from at will from all over the place, some magnificent scores, and Limerick couldn't break their momentum. They hooked them, they harried them, they blocked them. Look at this for fighting spirit. Like Ger Canning another time would burst those lads out of the way, but this is the spirit that Offaly possess, and look at this, just have a look and tap it over.
But Johnny Dooley, certainly over that closing period, his goal and then the points he contributed, he suddenly blossomed in this game out of nowhere.
He did. He was very quiet for a man of his calibre all day, but then that's the calibre player he is. He just sprung to life when he was needed. He was well marshalled all day, but suddenly a goal, 2 or 3 points on the trot when Offaly really needed it.
There's John Troy's point, of course, which then started DJ to stretch the lead for Offaly. And at this stage, Limerick were gone. I mean, there was no way back. They were just being overwhelmed at this point.
Well, Limerick were after hurling so well all day. Should have been a lot more ahead at half-time. And weren't. Left Offaly slightly in the match. But we thought Limerick were hurling very well in the second half as well, that they weren't going to let Offaly back. But here's another man, Billy Dooley. He must have scored 4 points on the trot. Yes. You know, when Offaly went in the lead, they could do no wrong at all, and no team can bounce back from that. When you have that little bit of momentum going, things are going to go very well for you. There's no way back from that, especially with only 5 minutes left.
After scoring one of the points at the close there, I saw Billy Dooley actually scratch his head sort of in disbelief. I don't think he could believe what was happening for himself.
Well, I don't know, could Offaly even believe it? Here's Brian Wheelahan steps up again. This one goes wide, but I think we were just commenting on that. Brian was probably the best Offaly player today over the hour, but I don't know, how would you go about picking a man of the match from Offaly if you had to pick one from Offaly, because how little were they in the game through, you know, up to the last 5 minutes.
That's an interesting point, Pete Finnerty. If you were to actually stop the play 5 minutes from the end of the match and not knowing what was then going to happen and say, now assess the Offaly team for me, it would have to be a very critical assessment.
Oh, it would have to be, because at that stage they were at 6s and 7s, and very few of them, as DJ said, had played anywhere near the potential. Limerick were dominant in the half-back line, their own half-back line. They were dominant at midfield. They dominated the Offaly half-back line for a long period of the game. The switch at half-time to put Brian Whelan in centre-back and Rigney out in the wing worked fairly well, but the next thing, Limerick came dominant in their half-back line, which was counteracting. The ball was going over their heads. Offaly looked very poor up to the last 5 minutes, but then the goal came, they got a roll, they got a momentum going, and Limerick couldn't beat them, couldn't get back at them because they hadn't enough time. Their confidence was gone and time was running out. I'd say at one stage and you couldn't blame him. Gary Kirby must have been thinking about his speech, because I watched him as he took the last three, and I said, if this goes over, Gary, I said, that's it. I said, you can concentrate on your speech from there on in, and suddenly it went all wrong.
Do you think a little bit of complacency then to follow on that point may have crept into Limerick, because they surely must have said to themselves, well, we've won this one?
It had to, because they haven't been here before, and they were so far ahead and things were going so well for them. They were even getting the breaks of the ball and the bounce and things like that, that they had to say, look, it won't be grand to be up there, and you just take your eye off what you're doing for a minute. And Offaly got back in, seized the opportunity, and I feel awful sorry for Limerick, because they did everything except for receive the cup. Like, they had it wrapped up. If you were a supporter, you'd be nearly going round the back of the stand to meet them afterwards. It's tough, because to come out in Munster you have to do so much, and next year they have to look at Cork and Tipperary and Clare and Waterford again, and the one break they get and they win the semi-final, and to go so far and to leave it behind them, not taken from Offaly.
Well, of course, and I suppose, Peter, it should be said that the Offaly team of the last 5 minutes or so, DJ, was more like the Offaly team we know. I mean, it wasn't just suddenly that they kind of stole a match they didn't deserve. They never played up to their potential for most of the game. That was more like Offaly in the end.
Yeah, that's true with the last 5 minutes, but if I was to be asked during the week if it was close with 5 or 10 minutes to go, who would you go? I'd say I'd have to go for Limerick. Looking at Offaly in the last 5-10 minutes of every game, that's where they slipped up. Although they didn't lose, but teams came back in the last 5 or 10 minutes. And the last 5 minutes that they put in was something else.
All right, DJ, well, let's go down to the dressing room right now, and Marty Morrissey hopefully is down there. I hope he's been able to beat his way in, because I'm sure there's tremendous celebration and jubilation down in that general area.
Well, yes, indeed. There's great excitement down here in the dressing rooms. Offaly people still can't believe that they are the All-Ireland champions of 1994, and particularly the players can hardly believe it. Michael Dykeman is with me. Michael, your thoughts now?
Well, we didn't seem to be playing as well in this game as we've been playing all year. We made a couple of substitutions. We kept looking at it, and just at the end, the last 5 minutes we couldn't miss, and everything came right for us and just went well for us. But it is hard to believe that in 6 points down with 5 minutes to go that we could turn it around and win by 7. It's unbelievable feeling, really.
You contributed nicely, scoring a lovely point.
Well, these things happen. I had 2 or 3 bad wides the last day after I came on, so I had 2 or 3 bad wides the last day. Today,
We only had 18 players in the second half, and every man gave 100. All-Ireland. I think it must go to the players.
Half, we were 5 points down and we had a very bad wide, and Gary Kirby turned around to me and he said, it's hard to look at that when they're losing, you know. And I just can't believe it, you know. Just can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Well done, Brian Whelan, and congratulations. Martin Hannamy, did you ever think you were going to...
That's the view from the dressing room. That, I'm afraid, is where we must wrap it up here on the programme. But don't forget, of course, the Sunday game later on tonight, when you can see a full review of this year's All-Ireland final. My thanks for the moment to DJ Carey and to Peter Finnerty, who have joined me here in the presentation box this afternoon. Don't forget that you can give your views to the Sunday game tonight, 0164 3535. That's the number if you want to get through to us, and those phone lines are actually open right now. Don't forget also, of course, that our man of the match selection from this year's final has to be announced on the Sunday game tonight. Who will get that Waterford Crystal Trophy? You can find out, Network 2 at 8 o'clock. For the moment, congratulations to the men of Offaly and to the Miners of Galway, All-Ireland champions from 1994.